Are you prepared to stand trial and profess your guilt or innocence before the Seven?
We need to trust each other. We have so many enemies now.
The Freys and the Lannisters send their regards.
What do you want?
I thought you knew what I wanted.
Tell him what you did to her. Tell him!
Are you afraid? Good. You're in the great game now. And the great game is terrifying.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Battle of the Bastards review and the season finale preview breakdown. Last episode was probably the best episode I've probably ever seen for Game of Thrones. I'm also going to try and not spin as much to make everybody dizzy while they watch my video. So bear with me as I try and do that. Last episode, Jon Snow, Ramsay Bolton got in one of the biggest wars I think we've kind of seen on Game of Thrones. Like, granted, there was like the big battles where King's Landing was invaded and whatnot, but this was like the biggest like open field battle, and it was probably the best choreographed battle I've seen in Game of Thrones. I always was a big fan of Spartacus and their fight scenes because that's mainly what Spartacus was. It was fighting all the time, so their fight scenes were always very well choreographed. And when I first started watching Game of Thrones, that's the one dislike I had of the series, was that there's a lot of characters, a lot of interesting stories, but the fighting and the fight scenes weren't that great. But like this season, by far, has like blown away all their other seasons in terms of that. So pretty much what happened was Jon Snow, Ramsay Bolton, Ramsay basically lets his brother go and shoots him just before he gets to Jon, taunting Jon or playing mind games with him to get him out, which works successfully. While I was sitting there watching that, I don't know why the kid didn't just run, you know, like zigzag or something. He just ran in a straight line, but, you know, it is what it is. It's part of the story. So Jon gets caught out. Luckily, the army moves forward. His army, Jon's army, moves forward, and they all clash in the middle with Jon standing there. It actually, in the breakdown, there's actually a YouTube video that Game of Thrones released where they broke down how they did that entire battle. So you should check it out because it's a pretty interesting video. So either way, the armies clash. There's a big battle. Ramsay's 6,000 people versus Jon's 3,000 people. It looks like Ramsay's are a little bit more coordinated in their attacks. Ramsay is also willing to kill his own men, you know, with volleys or barrages of arrows, whereas Jon's army is not, which probably ends up screwing Ramsay Bolton over in the end. So he's killing his own men, he's killing Jon's men, and then they get in this barricaded position, and Jon Snow almost dies. And when Jon almost dies from being trampled and crushed by his own, you know, own army and own men who are trying to all, you know, get away from the shields and spears and whatnot, I was literally thinking in my head that that would be such an embarrassing way to kill off a main character, but I wouldn't put it past, you know, the producers from Game of Thrones to have one of the main characters die and then come back and then die by getting trampled by his own army. I wouldn't put it past him, but it was pretty interesting. Either way, he makes it out of it. Just as you're like, yep, they're screwed. As you would expect. It was kind of expected. Sansa, I didn't know, you know, it was expected that something was going to happen. I didn't know specifically this, but Sansa gets with Littlefinger, bridges are, you know, she's burned a bridge with him, but, you know, they built it. They built it back. She gets Littlefinger, his army, right in. So pretty much take care of the remaining army of Ramsay. And then Ramsay retreats to Winterfell. In the castle, Giant breaks through it. Jon's, you know, basically just starts beating Ramsay Bolton to death, looks at Sansa and obviously realizes she's the one who should kill him. This is her kill, pretty much. And Sansa pretty much goes in there and lets the dogs eat him. It's pretty legit. So it's probably the coolest moment for Sansa since, she's just been abused pretty much her entire career through Game of Thrones. Pretty much, I can't even think of a time where, she hasn't. So, pretty good for her. Daenerys pretty much one-upped all the masters. And, at first I was like, why are they only burning one ship? This makes no sense. And then, then I realized, oh, they want the ships. So, stupid me. The ships are going to help them get to Westeros, and then that part of the story starts. But she makes a deal with the Greyjoys to help relinquish their uncle of the throne. They'll get the throne back. In turn, they will start treating people better instead of raping and pillaging and all the stuff they do. And in return, they'll get ships, or Daenerys will get ships, and that's where we're at. Preview of next episode. I can't really tell what's happening based off the previews. All I know, season finale. They wrapped up a huge war in this last episode, so I expect this will be maybe a cliffhanger, I don't know. They didn't give much away. You know that Cersei is going to be tried without a trial of combat. Maybe they'll kill her off next episode. Maybe not. I don't know how she'll get out of it, but it's possible. So it looks like the last episode is going to be a lot of storytelling, a lot of either wrapping up of storylines or leaving you on a cliffhanger. Or, they got to make you excited for next season, so we'll see. If you guys have predictions of what's going to happen in this last episode, leave them in the comments down below. Discuss anything you thought about the last episode, what you liked, what you disliked, anything like that. Drop a like on the video for how awesome last episode was. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I do these weekly, obviously, because the show comes out once a week. And as always, see you guys next week for the season finale. Okay, bye.